Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining in today and watching this video. And today with me is my very, very dear friend, whom I call him Mr. Subbu. And he would be here, would be discussing about what this recent transaction between Facebook and Geo, what would be that impact, how good it is for the economy. We would be having few basic discussions on it. So before that, thank you very much, Subbu, coming on this call. Thank you very, very much. So before we get started, can you please introduce yourself and tell our audience that what is your background, your experience, so that they understand the value of experience and market which you bring in here.
Okay, good evening, Nasser. Thanks for calling me to this platform and appreciate that you were able to pull me into this because I was a very reluctant person to come on to this platform. But thanks for giving this opportunity. And also, thanks for calling me Subbu because it's a fairly a long name which people generally don't remember very well. So that's why
That
it's
was the
better to
reason.
keep it Subbu. Yeah. So, hello guys. Just to introduce myself briefly, my name is Subramanian Vasudevan. So, better to call me Subbu. And I've been into sales and marketing for almost now 17 years. I started my career as somebody who sells a dabba of paint, and then became to supplying some products which is used in the dabba, and now I am selling packaging products to various customers. So that is a brief about what all I have sold. I have sold paints to various applications, like right from big infrastructure projects to products which are used on roofing sheets to offshore platform to oil and gas refineries, petrochemical plants, windmills, and then it came to structures, building structures, and you'll see a lot of these high-rise buildings having facades on the outside. So we sold paints for
Okay.
that, and then I started selling paints for beer cans and all the metal and tin containers, deodorants, and now I'm basically selling plastic packaging solutions to various pharma, liquor, FMCG, and various other customers who use these products. So basically an out and out sales and marketing guy. And though I spend a lot of time on paints and coatings, now I am into completely into a different product selling, which is into packaging products. So there's a brief about me. And across this journey, what has happened is like, though I am a typical Chennai guy, born brought up in Chennai and all, but I have traveled all across the country, and I have been in Gujarat for 3 years. Then I was in Jamshedpur for 1 year, in Pune for 6 years, Bangalore for 2.5 years, and now in Hyderabad for 2 years. So that's been my journey across the country. So I have various perspective about how things happen in various parts of the country, and how West operates, how South operates, how East operates, because I was in Jamshedpur for a year. Though we cannot classify Jamshedpur as a city in East, but definitely you bring in a lot of these culture which comes and influences that city. And then having spent time in these areas and also handled multiple set of customers, I have my own perspective. So as I have told Nasser that whatever I'm saying, it's all very personal view. This is nothing,
Exactly.
there
Yeah.
is no great analysis or great thought which has gone
Research.
into, yeah, research which has gone. So we'll be discussing something like coffee table chat
Yes.
between two friends who you have met after some time, and just about understanding how things are happening in the world.
Exactly. Now, just to add on one point, and then would be my question. Why Mr. Subbu is here on this chat is whatever he comes up with facts. And with the facts which he comes up with, any information which comes towards us from him is completely authentic, which I have seen from the past. And the analysis about how the market is going to go ahead, will it be sellable in the market or not, these all things which I have got it from Mr. Subbu. And that is the reason why I have called him up and said that let's have a chat and discuss about. Now this is the first question to him: what is this exact deal with Microsoft, sorry, Geo and Facebook. Facebook investing that amount in Geo. What exactly it is? Can you tell me?
Okay, now before we get into about the deal which got announced yesterday, I think it's very important to understand something about these organizations. Like Facebook, everybody know, because I think whoever will be viewing this video will know definitely what is Facebook and what it does and what all things you can do. uh, Very important thing to understand is about why it's significant from a reliance perspective. So that is something which I would like to give some thought around. And if you just go to a background, like Reliance Industries is basically a company which was built on oil and gas as a base of their business, and they have been growing with this consistently for last 40 odd years. And then they suddenly start up something called Geo. So now with Geo, what they did was like it's not going to be something which is only related with telecom, or something which is going to be like somebody who's going to be a service provider for us to speak and to interact or to put some data. So what Geo, what was the vision of Ambani's for putting up Geo is to make it much more bigger than just being a platform or a service provider. So that would have been the basic thought process at which they would have started. And lot of money has gone into building Geo. Like everybody would have seen how much money they have pumped in across building the networks and building the platforms and buying so many companies to come onto the platform. So this is to just to give a background that a company which was majorly into oil and gas has now fully transformed into or getting transformed into a new age kind of a company, using Geo as one of the vehicle through which they are going to
Starting
do this.
vehicle.
Yeah, that is the vehicle. So here, like one very important point which we need to remember is Reliance as a group definitely had that much capital with them to put in to build a network. Like after the 2G auctions, we would have seen almost 26 odd companies which got licenses, and so many of them were scandalous and everything went down the drain. But this company was able to get onto the act and then start building a complete from zero. They started, and they were able to pump in so much money into the building the infrastructure. So in that way, only a company like Reliance, a group like Reliance, can do this. So during this process, what has happened is Reliance always has been a very cash rich company. That's why they have been always growing year on year on their profitability, and they were giving a lot of returns to the shareholders who have put money into their shares and all those things. So in this process, what has happened is a lot of money has gone into Geo from Reliance Industries Limited, RIL, what we call. So RIL has pumped in a lot of money into Geo in the form of like what we call as debt. So as such, the debt of the group has it's kept on increasing. So what
Okay.
has happened is Reliance as a group was not holding such a big debt in the in their 40-year-old history. They would have had a lot of debt when they did the projects, like when
Okay.
they did the Jamnagar refinery or when they expanded the refinery. Because unless you have debt, you cannot fund the project. So, but they were able to quickly get out of that by in the like they could convert all the debts into equity, and they were able to do those things fairly better than any of the corporate houses in India. So in that way, a lot of money from a very good profitable company has gone into building a kind of a baby which was supposed to become a big business for them. So that's where Reliance has moved a lot of money from their oil and gas business into Geo to build the infrastructure, which is going to be very big in future. So that is the expectation. So this is the background of how Geo came into existence. And again, like if you see that the way Geo was built, everybody know like Reliance doesn't do anything in a very small fashion. They just do it a big bang, and if they enter, it is all full throttle. There is nothing like going by 10, 20, 30, 40 kind of. They just zoom across at 100, 120 kind of speed. So that is the way they want to get into this Geo, and that is what they did. So in this process, what has happened is the debt what the group carried has really become very big.
Okay.
That's what like if people who actually track RIL as a share were really worried, because as a group they were building a lot of debt into the books, and it was becoming a concern. And the concern was addressed by Mr. Mukesh Ambani when he said, I think in 2019, during the great annual meets what Reliance holds. Generally, it is a big bang affair.
Yes.
What they said is that by 2021 March, Reliance Group will be zero debt.
Okay.
That's a big statement. And the debt what Reliance Group carried is close to 22 billion US dollars.
Oh my
So
God.
it's not a small debt. So this was as of March 2019. So 22 billion USD is the debt which is in Reliance books during that time. And he told in 2 years' time, Reliance will be a debt-free company. So that is a
Okay.
vision in which they started the journey. So this is very important to understand, because unless we understand this, we will not understand why this deal is why this Facebook investing in Reliance is important.
Okay. The
So now
background.
this is the background, because as a group they have big debt which is sitting on their books, and this 22 billion as a group for Reliance, is it good to have this debt? Definitely, they can manage the debt. There is nothing which they cannot manage. They have enough cash. They definitely have some cash which can offset this debt also. But
Okay.
$22 billion is definitely a manageable debt for them. But as a group, their policy is to be a debt-free company.
Okay.
Anybody would be like that. Like as an individual, also we don't want to have debts.
Yes.
So in that way, Reliance also want to be a debt-free company, which is actually good in a long-term perspective.
Yes.
So this is the background which everybody should understand, and from there on, like the journey starts. So when the journey starts, the first, I think everybody would have heard this also, that Reliance entered into a deal with Saudi Aramco to sell 20% of their stakes to Saudi
Yes.
Aramco. So 20% of stake means almost $15 billion. So which means 70% of their debt is gone in this
Yes.
deal. Unfortunately, what happens is there are government intervene and the case is going on in the courts now. So it's like government has still not approved the deal. And
Okay.
looking at the current scenario of the way crude is performing, and the way Saudi as such as a country is going to handle this crude crisis,
Yes.
I'm not sure how this deal will span out. But this is one of the first steps they took to in the journey of becoming debt free. And across this journey, there was another milestone which they hit upon, which is they formed a joint venture with British Petroleum
Okay.
for their retail business. That is their oil and gas, oil retailing and aviation fuel retailing. So there
Okay.
was a JV which was formed between Reliance and British Petroleum at 51-49 percent stakes, where 51% was with Reliance and 49 with British Petroleum. So what they do is British Petroleum invest 7,000 crore into this joint venture.
Okay.
So which is a very small part of the $22 billion debt which we are talking of.
Yes.
So 7,000 crore is a billion kind of dollar in current exchange rates. So 1 billion comes into book. So that deal goes through. Now, another very important deal which is coming in this journey is Reliance-jio erected lot of towers. And
Yes.
anybody who understands telecom business is a good practice in telecom business is to have tower business separate and the service business separately, because one is the infrastructure part, other is the service part. So Reliance wants to sell this tower business into a different entity, and they were trying to bring in they were trying to rope in Brookfield, who are again Brookfield, who are PE private equity firm, and they were supposed to bring in a 8 billion USD. So 8 billion USD is the investment which Brookfield was supposed to put in into the Reliance-jio tower business.
Okay.
So again, with this 8 billion, the 22 can become 14. So that is the calculation which we should keep behind our heads.
Okay.
So these were the three milestones which they went through, and this tower deal also is still in the approval phase. Still, government has
Okay.
not given clearance, and it is still people are waiting for government clearance to happen. I think at some point this should happen, because logically that is the way everybody, like there is a company called Indus Towers which was formed by all the towers from Airtel and
Okay.
various other companies, which was formed, and it was carved out as a separate entity. Similarly,
Okay.
Reliance business also will happen. So that is where these three milestones are important to understand, because it is not that suddenly one morning Mr. Mukesh Ambani wake up and call Mark Zuckerberg and told that, buddy, why don't you invest in my company? It's not like that. There is a clear
Exactly.
philosophy and path in which
Which
this
has
company
led
is
to it.
traveling.
Because
Exactly. So,
these are few
yeah.
issues which actually I was also completely unaware about. And this is
Okay.
rightly fruitful information. These three milestones which you have shared is highly
Yeah.
informative, because this is actually leading us to understand that why Facebook actually invested 44,000 crore in Reliance.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
right?
So, and there are a lot of other few issues which are definitely there. Uh, if you take the journey of becoming debt-free company, they stumbled upon few more things, but they were not very significant enough for us to discuss at this point. But these
That's
were the
always
key
on the
things
news.
which. Pardon?
That's already in the news. We don't need to actually discuss that.
Yeah, we don't need to. Yeah. That is something which somebody who wants more information to understand about this, they can go through, find out. So
Yes.
that is where the uh, this becomes the next milestone in the entire process of becoming debt free. Okay. Now coming to this deal, which is Facebook investing. We'll talk in USD. It is like $5.7 billion investment.
Yes.
So because since all of us are tuned towards the $22 billion debt, so now 22 minus 1 from BP, and then minus 8 from Brookfield, which
Yes.
is like 22 has now become around 13, and this is 5.7 billion. So now Reliance, like, still money has not come to their books. These are all deals which have been stuck, and if Aramco deal also happens, then it's like they will have more cash in their books than their debt. So
And
that is
it would be
the
done before 2020.
like now the
Can't
world is
say.
in a different
Can't
scenario.
say.
Yeah,
Can't say
it's,
anything.
yeah, we can't say anything. Like I think unless the next moment, even next moment, we are not aware what is going to happen. So
Completely
the
unaware.
scenario is so uncertain now. So at this point, we will keep that 22 minus 1 minus 8, which makes it 13 minus 5.7. So 13 minus 5.7 is like 7.3 kind of. So that is where Reliance is at this point after this deal. So they still will have $7.3 billion debt in their books. Okay.
Okay.
Now, just to, yeah, Nasir, you want something to ask? Yeah.
No, no, you can continue.
Yeah, just to like, this is the big background about Reliance, because
Okay.
a lot of people know Reliance as somebody who knows their game in the stock market and know how to manage their cash. Now,
Yes.
just changing the focus to Facebook side, like because it's very important to understand.
Yeah. Why did Facebook
Uh,
invest then?
yeah, why Facebook comes into picture? Why not Google? Why not other players? And
Yes.
very interesting thing is Reliance also entered a deal with Microsoft
Okay.
in 2019 for using Azure as their cloud platform for all their
Okay.
data management. So that is also a very significant milestone in the way they are running their business and moving towards the new age kind of a
Okay.
business. So why that
Okay.
is important is because it is not that they are putting all their eggs in one basket. So they have
Okay.
Microsoft also. Yeah, so you have to de-risk yourself. So that is, any business is more about de-risking. So here the good thing is Microsoft Azure is one of the most robust cloud platform which is there. So that gives a big push for both Reliance and also Microsoft India, because once Reliance has a customer in India, Microsoft can actually expand their base better. And similarly, Reliance has a very reliable platform partner like Microsoft for managing their data. So that's something which we can just keep in the background.
Okay.
Okay, now coming to Facebook side of the story, I
Okay.
think
This is what.
everybody know Facebook, and I hope everybody has seen the movie Social Networking.
Yes.
So that is a movie about how Mark Zuckerberg built Facebook. Now, if you see the history of Facebook, it's again a company which has done a lot of acquisitions.
Yes.
I think the last count is they did 56 acquisitions. So that is
Okay.
the amount of acquisitions which Facebook has done. So
56.
it's very important. Yeah, 56 acquisitions, various small, big, everything put together.
Okay.
Now, one of the key, like few key acquisitions which we can definitely talk of is one is Instagram, which Facebook acquired for $1 billion, and that time it was considered to be one of the biggest acquisitions of that
Yes.
time. And now,
They,
Nazar, can you guess what is the valuation of Instagram?
I
Instagram alone.
Instagram alone, it may be multiples of it.
Yeah, multiples of 100 now. So
Oh
it's
my
a
god.
$100 billion business. So
Oh
it
my
is.
god. Oh my god.
So
That's why I'm very
so you
active on
can.
Instagram also.
So you're all adding value to that 100 billion. So
Yes,
now
I'm
you know
I'm
why it's
adding
100
value.
billion. Absolutely, it's. So now that is where that is one of the earlier acquisitions which this Facebook did. And a very prominent acquisition of Facebook is WhatsApp.
What's up?
So now, yeah. So now, like everybody gets zapped off when they hear WhatsApp was acquired at $19 billion. That is the value at which Facebook acquired WhatsApp. Now, $19 billion for WhatsApp. WhatsApp is free. Like Facebook,
Yes.
you get so many ads and everything, and still, I think $1 million question, or maybe because of the size of acquisition we can call it a billion or $1 trillion question, is how Facebook is going to monetize WhatsApp.
What's up?
So why this again, this is again one of the background thing which people have to understand, because this Facebook investment in Geo, WhatsApp is a key component of that.
Very
So
key component
now,
actually.
yeah, very key component. So Facebook bought WhatsApp for $19 billion, and WhatsApp had 1.9 billion subscribers.
Okay.
So now you can calculate, as an overall deal, it may look big, but per user, what is the money Facebook has paid? So if you are having one phone, two phone, two WhatsApp, if I am having two phone, three WhatsApp, or two WhatsApp, whatever it is, so it's all our subscriber base which has
Data.
gone to Facebook. Yeah,
Big thing. Data.
yeah, we'll come to the data game in a bit. But the interesting fact, what we should understand is, it is not that the valuation of 19 billion is something which has come out of the blue. There is a
Okay.
logic behind all these things. Like, it's on the subscriber base which is there, and how much people are using it. There are various things which goes in the background. So that is where WhatsApp was acquired. Then they do a lot of other smaller acquisitions. So
Okay.
which is like they acquire a VR kind of platform. Like Oculus is
Yeah.
another company
Okay.
which they acquired for virtual reality and all. And
Augmented reality.
yeah, and this keeps going. Like 56 is the company which they have acquired till now. And very prominent thing is, like, Facebook, like, to whatever I could understand, is they just go and buy the companies. So that is the way they have been working. But in this case, they only invested. They have
Okay.
not bought the company. So that is one of the things which we need to
Something new which
understand. It's
Facebook has
very,
done.
yeah, Facebook also has done. Like here, Mark Zuckerberg may not be able to actually uh, put his full ownership. He's only a stakeholder. He's not a full owner of whatever he has done now. So this is the Facebook background from the Facebook side.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if people would have viewed the video which Mr. Mukesh Ambani released announcing this acquisition, uh, he mentioned few very important things, like they are going to use Jio's platform, they are going to use WhatsApp and Facebook's capability of connecting the platform and the WhatsApp and all those things. So that is where we need to understand the background of Reliance. We should understand Facebook and we should understand WhatsApp.
Getting it. That's why
Yeah.
you have said all this background about it.
Yes, yes.
Now it's
Yeah.
completely understood. There is no other thing required right now.
So are we closing the discussion now, or
No.
you
You have to you need to put down few more points, and then we will close this down.
Okay. So now there are few like people who want to know some figures, like Geo subscriber is 338 million. So that is
Okay.
the amount of people who use Geo, and it's definitely growing every day. Like
Every day.
during lockdown, definitely they would not have grown, but I think they were the almost consistently last 5 to 6 months they have been actually growing, adding new customer base. Like the good thing about Geo is it's not only customer switch, but they've also added a lot of new
New
customers into their
customers.
yeah, which is a good sign, because there are new subscribers who are coming in. So what happens is, because Geo is also more data driven than voice driven, so
Okay.
that gives, obviously, anybody who buys a Geo, puts it on a phone, will use WhatsApp. Again, WhatsApp is like something which Facebook can definitely use it forward. So, and how many people use Facebook or WhatsApp? It's again similar number.
Yes.
What Geo subscriber base is there? It's around 380 odd or million people use WhatsApp in
We
India.
can say
So
every Geo
that's
customer
again,
uses WhatsApp for sure.
may or may not, we cannot generalize the statement. Like it is like, there are like people like my mother have Geo, but they don't use WhatsApp on Geo. She still carries another mobile. The Geo is only for her to keep the data running. So but the numbers look more or less same. It's not that
Okay.
it's too far off from what it is. But even other platforms are there where they use Geo,
Okay.
where they use WhatsApp. Like now, just again shifting back focus to Reliance. There are few things which Reliance was doing, like in this journey of becoming somebody who wants to de-risk themselves from an oil and gas kind of a business. So they were buying, they bought a media house called Network 18. So Network
Okay.
18 became
Networking. Yep.
fully, yeah. So there is some ownership by Viacom, but the Indian partner, they bought all the stakes. So the classic case will be, people would have seen Rajdeep Sardesai in CNN IBN, and
Okay.
now they are seeing him in India today, because he sold all his stake in CNN IBN, which Reliance bought, and then he moved to another channel, because it was Rajiv was not owning the channel, but there was a guy called Raghav Bell who actually
Okay.
was running the platform, was the owner, and he sold his stakes to Reliance. In turn, Rajiv share, everything went. So why Rajdeep Sardesai moved from CNN IBN to India Today TV is because Reliance bought all their shares. So now
Okay.
Network 18 was a very important acquisition, getting into a media kind of role.
Okay.
And beyond that, they also bought Savan, the music app,
That's a music
which
app. Yeah.
yeah, so that is again a good building block for them for getting into the entertainment space. And they bought various networks, like Hathway was bought. Like bought, what I mean by bought means it's not buying off fully, but they have some very important
Shares.
controlling stakes in all these companies, in
Okay.
Hathway, in Den Network, Datacom, all these things they bought. And a very interesting acquisition is they bought a artificial intelligence voice based startup company called Haptic.
Okay.
Why Haptic becomes very important is, this is a company which is developing AI tools using voice, which is
Okay.
similar to Alexa and Google Assist and all these things. So
Okay.
still, I think they have not commercialize this, but I think definitely a lot of background work may be going on. So this was a 700 crore acquisition. So we can keep this as a general knowledge at this point, but I'm sure they will use this in a much more effective way. They will not
Exactly,
just acquire
exactly,
and keep it as an idle company.
exactly. Now, to end this up, to end this discussion,
Yeah,
also, there is one big question which is there always with me. That
yeah,
with this transaction of investment, Facebook investing in Reliance, what would be the benefit to the normal people? Would
yeah.
that be a benefit to the normal people of India or US, or which country would it benefit?
No, definitely it will be a big, like, first thing is whether it is a good or a bad. So I think that is the question which we need to answer first.
Yeah.
So, so I would rate definitely it's a very good thing. Why I say it
Okay.
very good? It's not me saying. Any reaction for any kind of these investment come from the markets. Markets, I mean stock markets.
Okay.
So once this was announced, so Reliance share was up by almost 9.6%.
Okay.
So which means all the shareholders who have Reliance share with them,
Which is actually a huge number.
uh, yeah, it's a 9.6% in this kind of a scenario where the markets were swinging up and down. So it's a big move by Reliance for which has been approved by the stock markets. So
Okay.
markets were up yesterday because of Reliance, and today also markets were up. Reliance definitely has played a role, but the bigger thing is like this has been approved by market. So
Okay.
market is a great leveler. So you do good, you get a big upswing. You do bad, you'll be kicked downwards. So in
Okay.
that way, when this deal was announced, this has happened, which means the deal is good.
Okay.
And in this kind of scenario, in where we are all in lockdown and we don't know what is going to happen with us and how things
Yes.
will happen in future, in this kind of uncertainty, if Mark Zuckerberg kind of thinker puts money into a deal, it's again a very positive sign for a country like India, because
Okay.
this is the biggest technological investment which has happened in India. So that
Biggest
is a
FDI.
very good sign. Yeah, biggest FDI in technology space.
Yep.
So that is a great sign for India as a country, because this is something which you can use it as a tool to bring in much more investments into the country. That's where even Mr. Anand Mahindra in one of his tweet has congratulated Mr. Mukesh Ambani for making this happen, because at this point we need some dose to bring back the animal spirits in our country. So in that way, this is definitely a very positive sign. Okay, now what will this do? Like, this is a very hypothetical. What I could, from my limited understanding of how things happen,
Limited.
what I could do is what this could do
Yep.
is this could do what Swiggy and Zomato did
Okay.
for hotels, and what
Okay.
Voyo did for the boarding
Again.
and lodging industry. Similar thing this could do for the local kirana stores. That
Okay.
is the impact which this deal can bring in. That is the
Okay.
vision of Mr. Mukesh Ambani also, I think, because he is very specifically telling your local kirana shop is going to gain from this deal.
Okay.
So this, like, think of a scenario like now you order on Amazon or Facebook, sorry, in Flipkart, and somebody comes and delivers to you.
Okay.
Rather than somebody coming and delivering that to you, what will happen if your local kirana wala brings it and gives it to you? Because that is what we are surviving on. If local kirana wala is not there now, we are all dead for essentials. We will not get
That
essentials
that will actually save a
at
lot
our
of
house.
cost.
It will save cost, it will de-risk things, and the local kirana wala guy will know whether you are there in house or not. He will know better than somebody who's staying with you in your house. So he
Always.
himself will say, "Oh, jo घर में मालिक नहीं रहता अभी, you come after some time." So that is the level of knowledge which he will have. So that is what can happen if this deal, if they really work on what they are actually thinking of. That is a vision maybe of Mr. Ambani. And like again on the back end part, this is on the customer side. But
Okay.
for a kirana wala, what is it going to help him? Like what Swiggy and Zomato did, which a lot of people
To the
may not
restaurant.
know, is to the restaurant, which a lot of people don't know, is because restaurant guys doesn't know when their demand will be,
Yes.
but Swiggy guy will know when demand will be. Like for example, Paradise Biryani may not know how much biryani I should make, but a Swiggy guy will tell Paradise that boss, tomorrow you are going to have a big demand, the peak is going to be at between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock, be ready with more biryanis. So that is the
That's
information through the data which Swiggy or Zomato has, which gives input
exactly.
to Paradise Biryani to make more biryanis for that day.
Exactly.
So that is
Exactly.
what a local kirana guy can benefit. This platform will give so much of data, so much of inputs in the supply chain and in the cash flow front for the kirana walas. Kirana wala, maybe it's again a hypothetical scenario. He may actually say that, boss, you are not selling more of Dove soap. Why don't you buy Lifebuoy soap from tomorrow? So that is the kind of so don't have too much stock of Dove soap because there are no ladies in your locality. More men are there. So why don't you move to Synthol or Lifebuoy? So
So the
that may be
stocks
kind
would
of
be actually moving. Those stocks would be ordered which are
absolutely
moving.
the velocity and the churn of stock, the whole supply chain, for kirana wala, it's all now based on some trends and some kind of guesstimates what the kirana walas do, which can actually go off. It can be more scientific, and this can actually help them to be more they can prune their cash flows better. They can know where to pay, where not to pay, whom to negotiate more, whom not to negotiate more. So a local kirana wala can become a DMart basically. So you need not go to DMart to buy things. So
He'll
again,
understand the
these are
customer
all
in a much better way.
absolutely. And this is again very hypothetical. It may happen, may not happen, but this is a very wishful thinking,
We wish that
which
that
can
happens.
happen. It can happen if they actually do this properly. And very big strength of Reliance also is the Reliance Retail. They have Reliance Retail. They have various formats of Reliance Retail,
Okay.
and to an extent, they're doing. They could have done better, but they're not doing the way they want them to do. But that can also become more stronger. That is also through all the kirana walas. So the entire chain of unorganized kirana walas and organized Reliance Retail, they all can actually couple together in a much better fashion because of the platform with GeoMart. That's what they claim this
Okay.
is going to bring in. GeoMart can bring in, and they can help each other to bring in their strengths. This is the big opportunity which is there. Okay.
So
On
big
the
opportunity coming up.
yeah, on the challenges part, definitely data security.
Security data.
Am I
Okay.
giving too much of data to person like Facebook who doesn't have a
Nasser, can you hear me?
Yep. Yep. Sure.
Yeah, because my uh,
Headset
the Bluetooth
battery.
battery gone off. So what they will have is skepticism about how my data or what I'm giving to Facebook will be used. So, but I don't think for
There's
us, because
always
as
a risk.
we are very generous, we keep giving. We a lot of people don't even switch off their locations. So Google anyway is tracking us. Google is sending data. So it is definitely a risk that how they use the data and what for they use the data. So those are the things which definitely, and already I think a lot of memes have started coming in that Mark Zuckerberg walking like Thanos and he's having all our data and he knows, he will exactly know what you are ordering, what you are not ordering, why you are ordering. So all those, but this is a big skepticism which definitely will play a role. And another thing is like Reliance generally, as I earlier told, does things in a very big bang fashion. They
Yes.
don't generally hold their, they don't just test waters in small place and do things. So it will be very interesting to see in a Kirana store kind of a thing, how they do this in a big bang way. Maybe they will choose some city, do a trial run, then they may actually do this uh, overall rollout of.
Overall implementation. Yes.
Yes. So
That's
that is
how it.
that big challenges which I feel, but overall, definitely it's a big positive thing for us in current kind of a situation. Only a company like Reliance can do this. Very
That's
few companies can pull off a deal like this in this kind of scenario.
So that's superb information, superb knowledge sharing. Actually, I learned a lot. My brain is full right now. I did not know many
Oh,
of the things, maximum of the things I did not know.
okay,
And this is a great
okay.
learning for anyone who's going to watch this video. Also, it's going to be a great learning. I would actually thank you for coming in this session, accepting the call on this, very short notice, and coming in this call. What we see is we look forward to bring you again on these type of live sessions whenever you get time. I'll just pull you out, whatever things, maybe
Sure,
you are
sure,
in
sure.
your ISB class or you're there in somewhere. I'll just pull you out from your busy schedule and put you here, and so that we have a discussion like this.
Sure, Nasser. Pleasure that we could talk about this, and the topic is hot. And also, I could, whatever I could gather. And again, I'm just telling you that these are all things which are got from various sources which I could browse through. But whatever I said, you have to take with pinch of salt. It may be I would try to keep as accurate as possible, but the way I would have expressed the numbers or the way my interpretation of numbers, there may be something, but the overall message, what I tried to convey, would be right. But the numbers and the figures may be slightly off. But whatever I could do in a very short span, I've tried to combine that. That's it.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming in this session.
Thanks, Nasser.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Looking
Looking forward to
forward.
see you soon in upcoming
Sure.
sessions discussing about it.
Sure.
We'll
Yeah.
have a video on what we actually discussed in this video, and it happened also.
Yeah. Definitely. It'll be good to go back and see whether the predictions, and then I may actually claim that I predicted it sometime.
That's superb. All right, we'll just end this
Okay.
session. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure that you share this video, and if you liked it, press down that like button also. Thank you very much.